Okay, now we are going to be solving task 3.3, and in task 3.3 we are supposed to give our solution using pseudocode. So we are going to write our algorithm using pseudocode. So let's take a look at the solution. In this solution, this is where we have declared all the variables that we are going to be using within our program. So within our pseudocode, right? This is the string variable into which we are going to store the camel case value, and this here is the name of the array into which we are going to separate words and store them into this array, right? So we are going to be separating words from the original str string value, and we are going to be storing them into this words array, right? And finally, this here is the index variable, which is going to behave like an index, right? It's going to be pointing to different boxes or different elements within the array, right? And the initial value of index has been set to 1. So that's the initial value of index. Then we've taken the input from the user, right? And this is where the user is going to provide us with a camel case string, right? And that value is going to be stored in this variable original str. Let's assume that the user has given us the value hello good day, right? And we have to break this into 3 separate words, right? This is going to be hello, good, and day. And how is the so we can break this because we know what words are like. So when we take a look at this string, as humans we can easily break them into these 3 words, right? So but how is the computer going to do it? Well, the computer is going to look for the capital letter. Once it comes to capital letter G, the computer knows it's a new word. Once it comes to capital letter D, the computer knows that this is where the new word is beginning. So H was a capital letter and it was indicating that a new word was beginning. Then came capital letter G, which indicated that another new word was beginning. And then came capital letter D, which indicated that another new word was beginning. And just remember this, that for capital letters, the ASCII code for A is 65 and for Z is 90. So any capital or uppercase letter between A and Z is going to have an ASCII code value between 65 and 90. Okay, so we are going to process this string value, right? This is our example value. Okay, and we're going to do that using this loop. Now this loop is going to run 12 times because this loop is being controlled by this variable I, and the initial value of I is 1, but the final value of I is calculated using this function length. Now remember, this is a string manipulation function, and this is going to count the number of characters that is that are present in the string, right? So it is going to count the number of the characters in the string. And remember, in this case, in our case, this is the example string value that we are using, and when we count the number of characters in this, these are 12 characters, HELLOGOODDAY. They are 12 characters in all. So this loop is effectively going to run 12 times because this length function here is going to return this value 12. Okay, before I proceed further, I'll quickly explain what this function here is doing, right? What is this function doing? And this function is the same as this function right here. Okay, but what you should realize is that we've given our conditions here, right? We're looking for a value that is being returned by this function. It must be greater than equal to 65, and the same value must also be less than equal to 90. Remember, our ASCII codes for A to Z were capital A to Z were between 65 and 90, which basically means that if we get a value between 65 and 90, we can be sure that this is an uppercase character. Okay, so this is I've just written down the same function again, right? So what we have here are 2 string manipulation functions. One is the ASCII function. Now the ASCII function is always going to return the ASCII code value of a certain character, and this mid function here is going to be returning us a single character. Why it is going to be returning us a single character is because here we have specified the length to be 1. So this length is always going to be 1, which basically means we are always going to be picking just one character. Now which character are we going to pick? That is going to be indicated by the value of I. If the value of I is 3, then we are going to be picking 1, 2, 3, this character. If the value of I is 7, then we are going to be picking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and the 7th character, which in this case is going to be O. So this mid function is going to return us a single character, and the ASCII function is going to give us the ASCII code of that character. So just remember this, that because this inner function is what is going to be executed first. So first this mid function is going to return a character, then that character value will be handed over to the ASCII function, right? For example, if it was small e, then the ASCII function is going to find out the ASCII code of the character that has been returned by the mid function. So this inner function is what is going to be executed first. The result from this function is going to be then passed on to the ASCII function, which is the outer function, and then that function is going to execute second. Okay, so let's start processing our string by running this loop, right? The initial value or the value of I is 1, right? The initial value of I is 1, and right now the value of index is also equal to 1. Okay, when this loop runs the first time, this if statement is not executed, because one of the conditions inside the if statement is that I must be greater than 1. So this is not going to be executed because one of the conditions is false. I is not greater than 1, rather I is equal to 1 when the loop runs the first time. Therefore now this instruction is going to be executed, and the value of index is 1 right now. So this effectively becomes words 1 equals words 1 plus mid original str comma, and the value of I is also 1. So mid original str comma 1 comma 1. Now what this is doing on the right hand side is it is trying to join two strings together. One of the string values is what is held in words 1. So this array words and this box 1, right, the first element has no value inside it right now, so it is blank. So technically this is going to be blank, right? Plus, so this blank value plus this character that is going to be returned by the mid function, and the mid function is going to return the value that is going to be it's going to return the first character, because the value of I is 1 right now. So this capital H is what's going to be returned. So this becomes plus H and this is blank, right? And this result is now going to be saved into words 1, right, because the value of index is 1. So this is what is going to happen. This is going to be updated. So we'll have H in the first element of the array. Now this loop is going to run the second time. When this loop runs the second time, the value of I becomes 2. The value of index is still 1. Once again, once we go inside the loop, this if condition will not be executed, because this is going to return us a value. This is going to return us this character, right, E. So mid is going to return this character E, and the ASCII value of small e is 108. I believe it is 108. Well, no, it's not 108, rather this value is 101. So this value is 101. So this function is going to return us the value 101, right? And we can see that 101 is not less than equal to 90. Therefore this if condition is not going to execute, and we are going to come to this instruction within the loop. So this will effectively become words of 1, because the value of index is 1, equals words of 1 plus mid original str comma 2, because I equals 2 right now, right? So this is now going to return the second character, right? And the second character in this case is small e. So this will effectively become E plus, and this is words 1 now has this character H inside, right? So this is going to be H plus E, and this result, these two are joined together and they are going to be assigned to words 1, right? So effectively what is going to be updated here is HE. So this is the value that's going to be saved into words 1. Now when this loop runs the third time, I becomes equal to 3. Okay, when I equals 3, this is going to return the ASCII code of L, right? Because L is the third character which is going to be returned by this mid function, right? So this mid function is going to return this character small lowercase l, and then the ASCII value for L is 108. The ASCII value for L is 108, and we can see that 108 is not less than equal to 90, right? So 108 is not less than equal to 90, therefore this if condition is not going to execute. And once again we are going to come to this instruction, and this instruction now effectively becomes words 1, because index is 1, equals words 1 plus mid original str comma the value of I is 3. So the third character mid is going to return us the third character, which is L in this case, right? Plus this would be whatever is inside the first element of the words array, and that in this case is HE. Remember, this is what is already stored here, right? HE. Okay, so these two are going to be joined together and the result is going to be saved into words 1. So words 1 is effectively going to become HEL. So now when this loop runs the fourth time, the value of I becomes 4, right? This mid function is going to return this character, which is the fourth character, right? L, and the ASCII code of this character is 108, right? And 108 is not less than equal to 90, therefore this if instruction is not going to execute. This last instruction, right, within the loop will become words 1 equals words 1 plus mid original string comma 4 comma 1. So once again this character, this fourth character L, is going to be returned by this mid function plus whatever is already in words 1, and we have HEL that is already stored in words 1. These two are going to be joined together and this value is going to be saved into words 1. So words 1 is now going to become HELL. When this loop runs the fifth time, I equals 5, this mid function is going to return us this fifth character O, and the ASCII code for O is going to be 111, right? And 111 is not less than equal to 90, so this if instruction is not going to execute. This instruction is going to become words 1 equals words 1 plus this mid is going to be returning the fifth character, which is O in this case. So this is going to become O plus HELL, which is already there in words 1. So when these two are joined, the result is saved in words 1, and words 1 now becomes hello. Let me write that clearly. So it becomes hello. Next time the loop runs, the value of I becomes 6. This mid function is going to return us the sixth character, which is going to be capital G. The ASCII code of capital G is 71, and as we can see that 71 is greater than equal to 65, so it is greater than 65, and 71 is also less than 90, right? So in this case this if statement is going to get executed because all the conditions are true, and the value of index is going to be incremented by 1. So the value of index is going to become 2 instead of 1. It is now going to become 2. So this instruction is effectively going to become words 2 equals words 2 plus mid original str, and the value of I is 6 here, so it's going to return the sixth character, which is capital G. So this is going to return as capital G plus, as we can see, words 2 is empty right now. There is nothing here inside words 2. So this right hand side is basically what's going to get saved into words 2. So we'll have G, capital G, saved here.